solve. Okay. Step 8 is to substitute. Step 9 is to solve for the second variable. And step 10 is to ensure you write your solution. Don't forget the last step, and that is checking. Check, and you check in both equations. Okay? So remember, you're going to define the variables, generate the equation, match up, magnitude check, sign check, then you solve for first, substitute, solve for second, and then you check using both equations. Now it's time to practice, practice, practice. You now have the concept. Time to practice, practice, and practice. Remember, I can, I will, I must better my best. And with God, all things are possible. Do enjoy. Jesus loves you. He's always with you. Thus, you are never, ever alone. Thank you.
Come July, your NHT home improvement loan will increase to $3.5 million for qualifying applicants. Your government is caring for you.
Jamaica, I can help you protect our citizens.
Jamaica Eye will play a part in increasing your public safety.
Jamaica Eye is part of an island-wide network of camera surveillance systems designed to increase the safety of you, our citizens. If you have a camera system outside your home or office facing a public space, log on to jamaicaeye.gov.jm today. Jamaica Eye, we're all connected. The Ministry of National Security, creating a safer and prosperous Jamaica.
The following is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
To fight crime and violence in your country, your government has invested over $9.7 billion into national security systems. This includes the construction and renovation of dozens of police stations, the acquisition of critical security equipment such as patrol vessels and police vehicles, the recruitment and training of more police officers, and the build-out of the Jamaica Defense Force. Your government is investing in your safety. We are building Jamaica.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Welcome to Island Life Jamaica.
Experience paradise like never before. From our nation's rhythm to the tranquil shores of our beaches. Discover the real Jamaica through the eyes of those who call it home. Island Life Jamaica, where every story is as beautiful as the island itself. Island Life Jamaica premieres the last Friday of every month at 8 p.m. Don't just visit paradise, live it.
Have you ever wondered what happens to your money if a bank or financial institution fails? How secure are your savings in the bank? And what can you do to ensure it is protected?
Deposit-taking institutions that are governed or regulated by the Bank of Jamaica, they are required to be members of the deposit insurance scheme. So the expo that we're having in October, the JDIC in the Streets Expo, we had the first one last year on October 31st. It's in commemoration of World Savings Day. We've invited our member institutions, we've invited our financial system stakeholders, as well as key government service-centered agencies to come and meet with the public, engage with them, talk with them about the importance of saving.
Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow the Ministry of Finance on Facebook, Instagram, X, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Threads to see all the episodes and highlights.
What is the role of a backbencher in government? I'm glad you asked. They're members of parliament who are not appointed to cabinet. So they sit in the back of the legislature and they apply pressure. They examine what government legislates, participate in parliament debates, raise issues and advocate and question chamber when things don't look straight. Backbenchers represent the constituents in parliament. Backbenchers oversee the interests of citizens, you and me. But how can they be agents of government accountability after them no hold a portfolio? And them and a minister? No. So then how can they facilitate government transparency? And the next thing, them and a front bencher. So how them affect me? You see, a lot of work is in committees. So these portfolio-free MPs with less dire responsibilities are more accessible to you and me. So they help with policy, but it helps if we engage them, you see. So they're not just in the back benches, but on the ground, in the trenches. Though in the back of parliament, we're at the front of their cause. So pause. Find your backbencher at jampja.org.
PBCJ's Studio National is an excellent soundstage with a reputation for producing superior acoustics. Equipped with blue and green screens, it facilitates digital insertion of visual effects and exciting backgrounds in post-production. Studio National is the largest drive-in studio in the English-speaking Caribbean. Yes, you can actually drive a vehicle right onto the studio floor. With over 4,000 square feet of floor space, the studio can easily be transformed. It has hosted a wide variety of live and recorded productions, including Digital Rising Stars, Schools Challenge Quiz, gospel concerts, the TEF Tourism Debate Competition, and election night coverage. During the COVID-19 pandemic, it was a location for Reggae Sumfest and has hosted several reggae concerts, has hosted workshops, launches, town hall meetings, and over the years has been home to several TV dramas, including Oliver at Large and Lime Tree Lane. In addition to the rental of the studio, we can furnish a full crew to shoot and edit your production. So for your next major live or recorded event, or as a location to shoot films, programs, and commercials, PBCJ's Studio National is your best option. For smaller productions, you can book our more compact studio, Studio B. For bookings, call 876-665-7225 or email prod_PBCJ@PBCJamaica.org.
Zoom in on the nutrition facts. It there in the table on the side of the back. You fit check out the servings, just do the maths. Not taking too much, finger below the facts. Zoom in on the nutrition facts. It there in the table on the side of the back. Take note of the sodium, the sugars and the fats. 5% or less in the on the right track. You fit zoom in on the nutrition facts. It there in the table on the side of the back. Vitamins, minerals and vitamin 2, 20% and more that good for you. Nutrition facts. You feel zoom in. Check the nutrition facts. You feel zoom in. Check the nutrition facts. Less sugar, less salt intake, and less fat. You feel zoom in.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Jamaica Moves, the Heart Foundation of Jamaica, the National Health Fund, and JAP.
The hurricane season runs from June 1 through November 30. It normally peaks between August and October. Be prepared. Don't wait until the hurricane is here. Put together an emergency kit. The kit should contain face masks, first aid supplies, flashlights, a portable radio, batteries, non-perishable foods, 1 gallon of drinking water per person, cash, toilet paper, soap, alcohol, blankets, raincoat, and water boots. Store items in airtight plastic bags. Your disaster supplies kit should be placed in 1 or 2 easy-to-carry containers, such as a plastic bin or a duffel bag. Keep the kit in a designated place. Make sure all family members know where the kit is kept. Monitor your radio or television for weather updates and instructions. Be prepared.
Me, I go show them my way of justice.
I'm abused.
I need legal advice. I don't deserve this.
The truth of the matter is, justice there for all of it. The Ministry of Justice has trained more than 5,600 persons in restorative justice practices. More than 200,000 victims have been supported by the victim services. Legal aid has reached thousands island-wide. Make we talk it out, not fight it out. Call 888 Justice today.
Most major illnesses that affect Jamaicans are caused by unhealthy lifestyles. Over 50% of Jamaicans are overweight. 1 in 3 Jamaicans has high blood pressure. 1 in 8 Jamaicans has diabetes. 17% of Jamaicans have high cholesterol. A healthy lifestyle can reduce the risk of most of these diseases. Things like regular exercise and adequate rest can play an important role in maintaining good health. The other major consideration is eating healthy. The question is, how do you walk into a restaurant or fast food outlet and identify the healthier menu items? Better For You is an initiative to help Jamaicans to eat healthier. Restaurants and fast food outlets can voluntarily participate by identifying the items on their menu that meet the food-based dietary guidelines for Jamaica. These menu items would be easily identified with the Better For You logo, so customers can quickly identify healthier meal options by looking at the menu or menu board. Once they see the Better For You logo, they can confidently order that menu item, knowing that it's a healthier choice. Better For You will help Jamaicans to make better choices and prompt restaurants to add better options to their menu. Better For You is better for everyone. Good health begins with better choices.
So who keeps our taxpayer money in check? Well, the PAC and PAAC help watch over the country's budget. And one might sound like it just have an extra A, but they're way different. Here's how. The PAAC and PAC are two committees that watch the money. The Public Accounts Committee reviews government projects after them close. They do a post-audit check to see what problems arose with the costs and call officials to explain decisions that cause budget mismanagement. And then they recommend corrective action. So the problem will happen from when, not happen again. But what about the money we are spending right now? The PAAC. That's how Public Administration and Appropriations Committee pretty much means your money will protect as it happen, we check. While projects go on, things are accurate. As government spend the nation's budget, PAAC reviews it. They examine proposals and summon officials to find problems before them don't use it. So the PAC and PAAC are two parliamentary committees that watch over the country's wallet to protect the budget and keep it in check. And you can get involved. Just visit jampja.org.
No more guarantors for student loan. Your government cares about your education, and we don't want you to ever have to worry about going to university. The Students' Loan Bureau has a loan for you so you can focus on your future.
Cook it up and make we steam it. Fresh so me need it, tilapia a real fish. Cook it up and make we roast it. Farm fresh so me need it, tilapia a real fish. Grow smart at the best part. Food for thought, so me have to eat smart. Easy catch, fully net. A tilapia, so you don't know what's next. Cook it up and make we fry it. Fresh, so me need it. Tilapia, a real fish. Bring home the best in freshwater fish. High content of vitamin B3, protein, and potassium. Tilapia, simple, healthy, delicious.
The hurricane season runs from June 1 through November 30. It normally peaks between August and October. Be prepared. Place important documents such as legal papers, passport, birth certificate, marriage license, financial papers, medical records, and insurance policies in airtight plastic bags or in a safety deposit box. If possible, make copies of them. You can also use an external hard drive to store your documents and access these secure documents from any computer. Monitor your radio or television for weather updates and instructions. Be prepared.
Motorists, as Minister of Justice, I appeal to you, obey the road code, pay your ticket on time, and only go to court if the ticket is being contested. Close to 80% of matters coming to the parish courts are for traffic breaches. Let's work together to make our roads safe and ease the burden on our courts.
In an era of connectivity, loss of electricity could equal frustration. Use power banks to charge devices and conserve their battery. Instead of scrolling, read a book and see what knowledge you stumble upon. Hone your skills. Work out to help you reach your fitness goals. Catch up on sleep lost during hours spent on devices scrolling or completing assignments. Take some time to reflect and think about your current state of being. With no TV to watch, increase family time, converse, play board games. Loss of connectivity, the perfect moment to get back in touch.
We want a piece for Jamaica. Yo, what are you? Oh man, none of that. Yo, no, brother, no, man.
Can I see you ever play ref? Dirty game, man, please.
Look a bad game. No, I said, place when you come from, brother, I want to live good, man. I want to live good, brethren. No shake hand, I can play like a bad, brethren.
Really have to shake hand?
Yeah, man, and no badness, brethren. Just live good, man.
Come together as one and make the violence done.
Already happening.
National Disaster Risk Council. We also have with us the Honourable Daryl Vaz, Minister of Energy, Telecoms and Transportation. We have the Honourable Matthew Samuda, Minister of Climate Change. We also have the Honourable Christopher Tufton, Minister of Health and Wellness. The Honourable Abka Fitz-Henley, Minister of State in the Office of Prime Minister. Senator Marlon Morgan, Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information. Richard Thompson, who is Director General of ODPEM, who is. We have Minister of Health and Wellness, the Honourable Abka Fitz-Henley, Minister of State in the Office of Prime Minister, Senator Marlon Morgan, Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information. We also have Mr. Richard Thompson, who is the Acting Director General of ODPEM, who is on way. We have PS, Dr. Kassan Troop, PS in the Ministry of Education. We also have Mr. Rohan Brown from the Met Service and Evan Thompson, who will be joining online. We have lots of representatives from various ministries, agencies of government, and also the private sector. I know in the room we have JPS, we have NWC, we have Flow, we have the Airport Authority, we have Petrojam, we have JUTC. I may have left off some, but I'll tell you as we go along who is also here. So members of the media, we acknowledge you for coming out. Jamaicans at home and abroad, good morning again to you all. We are going to be getting some updates very soon. Since our last presser, which we had yesterday, a lot of things have changed. You'd have seen the updates this morning where we were upgraded to a tropical storm warning and a hurricane watch. You would have also seen a notice that out of an abundance of caution, we did move our classes and our schools to the remote environment. And so those are two key updates so far. The agencies of government have been working, and you'll hear all about that this morning. The Met Service, usually we start with them, but they had an important meeting with the National Hurricane Center, so we're going to change the order. Usually we start with the forecast, but this morning we're going to be starting with Minister Tufton, who is going to give us an update from the Ministry of Health standpoint. They're very, very important in the preparedness and also in the response mechanism of government. And so we'll have Minister Tufton first. When he is finished, we expect that the Met Service team will be ready by that time, and we will have them and Minister Samuda, and then after that we will have Minister Vaz come to you. So first up is Minister Tufton. Good morning, Minister.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Minister. And let me just welcome and recognize my colleague ministers in the audience who have been mentioned before, members of the civil service group, including my own permanent secretary, Errol Green, and I also have with us our head of the emergency services in health, Dr. Dawkins Wright, who is prepared to elaborate on any specifics related to our preparedness. So I'll give you an update on our plans and what the possible impact of the storm is likely to have on the health services. So we do anticipate, even though we hope not, that given what is being projected, that there will be some disruption in our health services, interruption of supply chains, including for medications, the possibility of injuries from wind damage, debris, and falling trees, the risk of waterborne or vector-borne diseases from flooding and stagnant water, challenges to our most vulnerable, among them people living with chronic diseases, the elderly, persons with disabilities, pregnant women, and children. So there's likely to be an impact on the entire society, or entire lives, and we need to prepare for that. The Emergency Operation Center is now fully activated within the Ministry of Health and Wellness. It's a 24-hour center which keeps in touch with all the collaborating agencies and mans from that space the response that is required throughout the country. And that is up and running. We continue to prepare our efforts across the island, and we have had a number of consultations over the past number of days with the regional health authorities and other stakeholders. So these are some of the specifics. All public hospitals will now enter emergency mode. This means that while hospitals remain open, outpatient services and elective surgeries will be suspended for the time being to focus on the emergencies. Visitations will be limited, and family members are asked to pick up their relatives who have been admitted for non-critical reasons, and the respective hospitals will reach out to those family members. We have to reserve bed space just in case we need them for emergencies. In terms of health centers, we remain open until 4 p.m. today. A further update on our health centers will be provided tomorrow. So up to 4 p.m. you can access health centers across the country. We have 325 across the country. In terms of the system readiness, there are approximately 116 priority facilities, 25 hospitals, and 91 type 3 to 5 health centers. A verification exercise has been conducted with key capacity indicators, which include the following: human resources, some 702 personnel identified and are on standby across parishes for emergency response activation. All assessed facilities have documented staff welfare measures in place, so we have personnel in place. Secondly, command and control, 100% of priority facilities have established identifiable command centers to coordinate emergency response operations with clearly defined roles and responsibilities. Backup power systems, 75% of priority facilities have functional backup electricity systems, generators with fuel reserves, capable of sustaining power for some 72 hours post-disaster. And the generator project has equipped some 21 primary care facilities increasing the total to 60 facilities across the country. This is for primary care, the health centers. Medical gas and supplies, 100% of priority facilities have sufficient medical gas supplies, estimated to last some 72 hours. Strategic stockpiles of medications and medical consumables have been verified and are maintained at a minimum 72-hour level. Infection prevention and control, 100% of priority facilities have been documented infection prevention and control protocols and system visibly in place. Transportation fleet, 87% of priority facilities reported having fully functional transportation or vehicles fleet for emergency response and patient support. Communication capacity, 75 UHF radio systems available for mobile response teams. Based on radio check, JICA emergency communication project is in operation in some areas as of July 2025. Starlink backup communication system have been tested in Western region for enhanced redundancy. So we are putting in and have put in communication systems to be able to communicate if there are disruptions in normal channels. Surge capacity, hospital inpatient capacity of approximately 5,000 beds, 20 operating theater units, 19 emergency rooms across the public system. And there are plans for the rapid redeployment of mobile response teams if required. And there's one functioning field hospital, which is currently being deployed at the Maypen Hospital. Multi-sectoral coordination, parish, hospital, and National Health Disaster Committee meetings have been convened. The Water, Sanitation, and Hygiene Coordination Committee has been established and engaged with partner agencies, including agencies that are here, the NWC, UNICEF, Food for the Poor, JDF, and the NWA. I want to just use the opportunity, having given these specifics, to encourage Jamaicans to work with us to ensure their safety and good health during this period. Ensure that you have at least 72 hours of essentials in a storm-ready kit, somewhere that it can keep dry, okay? And storm-ready kit is sophisticated sounding, but it could be a plastic bag. Ensure that you include in this non-perishable food. Spoiled food can be a source of serious health concerns if you have no light and your refrigerator goes down. So the tin stuff, right? And other non-perishable foods. Water is essential because waterborne diseases tends to be the logical consequence after a storm. Medications, flashlight, battery-powered radio, and extra batteries. So it's important that the public take the next number of hours to prepare themselves. If you have chronic illnesses like diabetes, hypertension, kidney disease, respiratory ailments, ensure that you have your medicines and know how to take them if services are disrupted. And we do encourage persons to communicate with their health provider in anticipation of the possibility of disruption. So whatever clarity they need, they can get before. We also would like to say and encourage you to stay tuned to updates, and I'm sure there may be the Met Service and ODPM and so on that will give updates, but the Ministry of Health will also provide updates as necessary, and the extent to which you can get those updates from main media, traditional media, or otherwise you should. However, my closing remark is that be also cautious around the social media communication and ensure that it comes from sources that are credible. In disasters, we tend to get a lot of misinformation. Everybody's an expert, and we could create confusion in that way. So we discourage those who would like to be an expert but know they are not from communicating unless they're absolutely sure. And we certainly encourage the public to stay tuned to the recognized and authoritative sources around this. Thank you very much, and we wish all a safe passage through this storm.
Thank you very much, Minister Tufton. And I know that his permanent secretary is here, Errol Green, I acknowledge you, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health and Wellness, and he is also going to be staying to answer some of the questions at the end. So we have a lot of updates to get through, and the man of the moment, usually you're used to seeing Evan Thompson, but today we have a really wonderful person from the Met Service, Rohan Brown, who will be the one that will be providing the update. And so he will be coming to do his presentation. And after that, we will have Minister Samuda coming forward also. So please welcome Rohan Brown from the Met Service, a new voice for us here. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Minister Morris Dixon. At this time, the Meteorological Service continues to closely monitor Tropical Storm Melissa, which has shown a slight increase in forward speed, but remains a slow-moving system across the central Caribbean waters. Now, for those tracking as of 10 a.m., the center of Tropical Storm Melissa was located near latitude 15.5 degrees north, 74.9 degrees west, or about 215 miles southeast of Kingston, Jamaica. The system is moving slowly towards the northeast near 7 kilometers per hour, and maximum sustained winds are up to 75 kilometers per hour with higher gusts. Now, we have gone from a tropical storm watch to a warning because tropical storm conditions are likely within 36 hours within the Jamaica area. And we have also gone to a hurricane watch because hurricane conditions of 119 kilometers or more in terms of wind speed are likely over Jamaica over the next 48 hours. Now, little strength in forecast is expected over the next day or so. But what is interesting, we just had a discussion with the National Hurricane Center, and coming out of that is that Melissa could become a major hurricane sitting south of Jamaica on the weekend. And that, of course, is something that we have to pay special attention to. Generally, in terms of the impacts, we're expecting significant rainfall amounts that could cause localized flooding and landslides, especially over low-lying and flood-prone areas due to Melissa, and of course the antecedent conditions of the heavy rainfalls over the last couple of weeks, which would allow the soils to be very wet or saturated at most. And strong gusty winds are likely in terms of tropical storm winds over Jamaica Friday into the weekend, and as such we have gone for the tropical storm warning, and the hurricane conditions are likely on Saturday, and therefore we have gone for a hurricane watch as well. Marine interest should expect widespread showers and thunderstorms accompanied by tropical storm force winds today and continuing into the weekend. Winds reaching hurricane strength are likely on Saturday, particularly over southern and eastern offshore areas. And of course, we're advising that all marine operators, including fishers on the quays and banks, should have by now be in port, and we're urging them to complete their necessary safety precautions without delay. At this point, it is important for the public to understand that the system is still evolving. And because it's evolving, while it remains a tropical storm, any change in the forward speed and the structure could alter the expected impacts for Jamaica. Therefore, we urge everybody to be vigilant, to keep monitoring official updates from the Met Service, and of course, to stay tuned to the Meteorological Service, your source of information. We continue to provide updates every 3 hours as necessary, and in coordination with the National Hurricane Center in Miami, the Ministry of Water, Environment and Climate Change, the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, and other responsible agencies, we are coordinating for this storm. In our profession, we always pray and hope for the best, but we always plan for the worst. So in this case, we are praying that God will protect and bless Jamaica land we love, and we are going to plan and prepare for this storm. Thank you, Minister.
All right, you heard it. That's the update. We're going to switch order a little bit and have Minister Daryl Vaz now come to give the update. And I saw Digicel in the audience now too. So they are also going to be available to take your questions at the end. So even if you don't hear them give an update, they are all here. Everybody that I announced is here to take questions. Welcome, Minister Vaz.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen, colleague ministers, PSs, and of course, heads of agencies and partners. So, the Ministry of Energy, Telecommunications and Transport cover a number of essential services, which I know there are questions that are being asked. So I'm going to give an overview. We have heads of agencies here. We also have president of JPS and others that are here, Digicel and Flow, Stephen Price, who is here from Digicel. Okay, and Digicel, which are critical stakeholders in times of emergencies such as this. So as the country continues to prepare for Tropical Storm Melissa, Ministry of Energy, Transport and Telecommunications has been working closely with our utility providers, transport entities and telecommunication providers to ensure a coordinated national state of readiness. I'm going to leave JPS for last. And I'm happy to see my good friend Hugh Grant here. So let us start with Petrojam. We have activated all refinery emergency systems and confirmed sufficient fuel supplies. Over 2 weeks worth of refined products and 10 days of LPG following the storm. Loading facilities in Kingston and Montego Bay will extend hours to support pre-storm deliveries, and Jamaica Aircraft Refueling Services, JARS, is fully stocked with jet fuel and aviation gasoline to ensure continuous aircraft refueling. Flow Jamaica has fully activated its crisis management system with support from local and regional teams. Power resilience has been strengthened with over 61% of mobile sites now having backed up power and 143 new generators installed island-wide. All generators are refueled and serviced and field teams are mobilized. Company's Emergency Operations Center is active and the public can reach the center for emergencies at 876-929-9834. I'll repeat that, 876-929-9834 and 876-929-9837. That's 876-929-9837. Digicel has formed a dedicated disaster response core team to ensure continuous operations during the storm. Company has strengthened communication redundancy with satellite phones and backup connectivity through other providers. All network sites, towers, and facilities have been structurally inspected and generators confirmed to be up and running condition. Essential spare parts are secured locally and overseas, and mobile cell sites are ready for rapid deployment to restore service. Digicel has also conducted safety training and weather simulation drills to enhance preparedness and technical response. Transport, Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC, will maintain regular bus operations as long as conditions are safe to do so. Service updates will be shared via social media and public channels. 30 buses are designated for emergency deployment across depots in Portmore, Spanish Town, Rockfort, and Montego Bay. Each depot has activated an emergency operations committee, and the JUTC representatives are embedded in national and parish emergency centers for coordinated response. All depots, fuel stations, and assets have been secured, and the company is prepared to support evacuation and transport efforts if needed. Montego Bay Metro, Western Transport Operations, remains fully operational and will continue to provide service as long as weather conditions allow. Toll authority, highway operators, very important. Highway operators are now on alert to respond to any emergency direction that the minister may issue when it becomes necessary, which means that if the storm or the hurricane is creating panic and the highways are congested, I will give the direction to open the highways, toll booths, free of cost to the commuters during the period of the storm. Airports Authority of Jamaica, important for those of you who might be planning to leave. Emergency protocols are fully activated at Jamaica's international airports in preparation for Tropical Storm Melissa. At Samuda International Airport, MBJ Airports Limited has implemented pre-hurricane measures, including drainage and tree clearing, testing of generators with a 36-hour fuel reserve, and positioning of emergency supplies. At Norman Manley International Airport, PACAL has directed stakeholders to secure assets and complete drain cleaning, structural checks, and power system tests. Both airports will expedite reopening once safety is confirmed, with updates shared through official bulletins, social media, and coordination with airlines and government partners. So the question that is being asked out there, is there a possibility of the airports being closed? So I made sure to clarify that with the Airports Authority. The minute that a hurricane warning, not a watch, a warning has been issued, it is likely that the airports will close within 24 hours. It is not a must that both of them will be closed at the same time. It's all dependent on the tracking of the storm or the hurricane and the elements in terms of the locations of the two airports, which are obviously on the sea. So for right now, airports remain open, and the only time that we will move to close the airports will be if the Met Office issues a hurricane warning. If that was to be predicted or projected, that would probably be sometime tomorrow into Saturday. So sometime between tomorrow evening and Saturday day. But best thing is to monitor, and the hurricane warning is the trigger. So let's end my briefing on JPS. JPS has reported to me that they have fully activated the command centers under the new incident command system and placed overseas line workers on standby, with 31 of them already in Jamaica for pre-storm preparations. To boost resilience, critical control and telecom sites now have 48-hour backup power and new Starlink systems for communication continuity. The company has expanded its fleet with over 115 specialized vehicles to enhance post-storm response. Vegetation management and grid reinforcement have been intensified, especially in key transmission areas across western and eastern parishes. JPS is coordinating closely with national agencies and utilities to ensure safe access and timely and consistent customer updates. So this is welcome news to me, and it obviously is as a result of our experiences of Beryl. So I want to say that I can see that the JPS is being proactive, and I see Mr. Hugh Grant here, and I know he and I will be having several conversations between now and whenever the event, as I know that he would not like for he and I to have the same words that I had last year, this time with Beryl. I'm going to ask him to say a few words. You want to wait until after Minister Samuda? You can do now. And just to say to JPS, I know that you are doing tree line clearing, and I know I have reported already that some of your contractors, who I'm sure are being paid to remove the debris, are finding the easiest way, which is the gullies across Jamaica, which are only going to make matters worse for us. So I'm asking you, please, sir, as a matter of duty today, to make sure that those areas are inspected and satisfactorily signed off by JPS and not rely on those contractors who have a habit of finding the shortest route to make the best and the most money. Zero tolerance. So, ladies and gentlemen, based on what I have told you here, I think the most important update is that of the JPS, and I am confident that we will manage, if necessary, much better than we managed based on the lessons we all learned coming out of Beryl. And you can rely on this administration and my colleague ministers and myself to be vigilant and to hold those accountable and responsible for an efficient response in all areas. Thank you. You want to say something, you?
That's the kind of partnership we're going to have. Thank you, I appreciate that.
Didn't get me, eh?
Good morning, everyone. Good to be here and appreciate you all. Yes, I could get you many. So as you heard Minister Vaz said, JPS stands ready and prepared to respond to the storm. Let me start by saying a tremendous thanks for the partnerships with many key stakeholders that as a result of that has positioned us very well. I want to say special thanks to my partners in terms of my fellow utilities. I see Stephen Price here, I see Kevin here, and I also know the other Stephen Morad. We have been in several conversations. I also want to say special thanks also to National Water Commission. I see Minister Samuda here, along of course with Kevin, who we have been partnering on multiple fronts. We have also been partnering with the National Works Agency, so thanks to that also for the partnerships, and many other partnerships, including the hospitals, whereby Minister Tufton and his team. So frankly, JPS has had a renewed approach in regards to storm response. And in the interest of time, I'll just share a few things that I consider, frankly, game-changing in terms of how we approach storms. Let me start by saying, in regards to our new incident command structure, we implemented a new incident command structure post-burial, and what does that do for us? One, it streamlines communication by having clear roles and responsibilities for our personnel. The other key thing that it does is it has an arm that's a liaison arm to communicate with key stakeholders. So what does that look like for us? We have an arm that's dedicated to the municipal corporations, whereby there we'll be getting the window and the lens of what's happening locally within the various parish councils and their disaster response and emergency agencies, bring that into our incident command to inform our response. I want to make a special call out to Minister Mackenzie for his support of his initiative, and we have been working tirelessly with his team around this. Frankly, we have exercised this in early November with the passage of Tropical Storm Raphael. It worked well, and we'll only continue to build on that. The other key thing that liaison arms does is it also establishes window into what's happening with our telecom and also the water space. There again, we'll be having daily calls with these key entities in terms of what are you seeing, what are your priorities, and ensure that it's prioritized and aligned with our response. So that heightened stakeholder engagement, that heightened transparency, that heightened communication, I think will serve us very well and be game-changing. The other thing that we did is, before the storm arrived, we have mutual aid resources. So we have boots on the ground right now that we brought in from our peer Caribbean utilities to help in regards to line workers and storm response. So we are expecting in the order of 60 additional line workers to augment and bolster our internal workforce. Just by order of magnitude, that's upward of 30%. That right there is game-changing. That is what best in class looks like. We're not waiting on a storm to arrive, wait until the aftermath, and then determine resources. We have preemptively utilized our models, brought boots on the ground from day one, so once it is safe to do so, we will be out there responding. We have also activated our incident command structure, whereby we're going to be working 24/7, non-stop, to safely and timely restore power to our customers. We're going to have very open and transparent communication, and we're going to be aligned around the priorities of ODPEM and other key stakeholders to ensure that we get the lights back on as safely and as quickly as possible. With all that being said, let us be frank. We have faced multiple weeks of significant rainfall. What does that mean for us? The ground is saturated. Saturated ground combined with increased rainfall in the order of what I'm hearing 6 to 12 inches, plus winds sustained in the order of 50 miles per hour, increases the likelihood of power outages. So I'm standing here to let you know the lights are going to go out. So let us plan for the lights going out. With that being said, we are committed, we are positioned, we are resourced, and we stand ready to respond. I also have confidence in the work that we have done in regards to our infrastructure improvement. Minister Vaz mentioned the intentional focus on vegetation management. Frankly, we have changed our strategy around vegetation management, whereby we're being more intentional in removing trees. Before, there was a strategy of having covered conductors in the vicinity of trees. But what we saw is that works well on a blue sky day. However, during storms, what happens? The tree falls. Where does it fall? Into your line. So we're removing the vegetation, and we have done that. We have done over 7,000 kilometers of lines, way ahead of our targets for this year. With that being said, I kindly take the minister's feedback in terms of an opportunity for us to do a better job and hold our contractors accountable with the cleanup that has not gone unnoticed. I'll take that back, and we'll redouble our efforts in that regard. The other thing that we have done is we have increased our spend in regards to our infrastructure and the rollout of smart devices. What does that look like? We have partnered with the Ministry of Health, Minister Tufton and his team, where we now have smart devices on priority circuits supplying hospitals. What does that mean? We have devices that can sense outages, and automatically transfer to other circuits, thereby restoring power. We have also partnered with Minister Samuda and his team, whereby we have prioritized circuits that are feeding critical water pumps. One such thing is in Logwood on the west, where a critical pump supplying the entire western area. We have reinforced the grid, we have enhanced our veg management, and we have open communications to these facilities. That would help us to have a much better response. The other thing that we have done is created more visibility around the grid, whereby we have rolled out our smart meters. With that, I'm going to close by saying, safety is our North Star. And the safety of the members of the public, the workers, and all who are out there responding is of ultimate and utmost importance to us. That would guide us in what we do each and every day, and we stand united with all to share and respond. Thank you very much. I appreciate you all.
Thank you. You can say a last word.
I can say he could have summed it up by saying easily that he got my memo from last year.
Thank you, and thank you, Minister Vaz. Thank you to you from JPS, and I can assure Jamaica that Minister Vaz has your back. We know that last year it did not go well. And I know last year I hosted the prep meetings before the storm, and everybody said all the right things, and it didn't go as planned. And I know Minister Vaz is going to make sure that things go better than they did last year. We are now going to hear from the other telecom provider that's really, really important and Jamaica wants to hear from, and that's the NWC. And with us, we have Kevin Carr, the acting head of the NWC, who will come forward to do a quick presentation.
Thank you, Minister. Morning, everyone. Especially morning to my NWC team members who are committed and working hard to ensure that the plans that I will be presenting here today, we actually put them in place to ensure water is supplied before, during, and after the passing of Melissa. So today, my presentation will be in 4 parts. I'll provide some context, preparedness measures, and our public communication support, and I will close by reinforcing the Team NWC commitments. Although the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season has thankfully been less active than initially predicted, the National Water Commission remains on full alert. With Tropical Storm Melissa now developing in our region, we continue as Jamaica main supplier of potable water and provider of wastewater treatment services. The NWC recognizes how critical it is to maintain water and wastewater services before, during, and after any major weather event. Next, we will share what we at NWC have been doing to ensure we are prepared. From the beginning of this year hurricane season, we activated our hurricane preparedness and response plan, ensuring that systems, personnel, and communication channels are in place to respond swiftly and effectively. Our priorities remain clear: to protect the safety of our employees, infrastructure, and critical assets. And second, to guarantee continued access to safe drinking water and wastewater services for more than 540,000 customers across Jamaica. Next, I will share our current state of readiness for Tropical Storm Melissa. With the development of Tropical Storm Melissa, the NWC has moved into heightened state of readiness. Key actions include: all hurricane response team members have been briefed and placed on high alert. Managers have met with their parish disaster committees to continue local actions. Heavy equipment, including water trucks and backhoes, has been prepared or placed on standby in regions where contractors' support may be required. Private providers of standby generators have also been engaged in case additional capacity is required. Field teams have been equipped with protective gear such as water boots, rain cloaks, and flashlights. In St. Thomas, pipelines located in landslide-prone areas that crosses rivers have been temporarily removed to prevent them from being washed away during heavy rainfall. Open trenches at work sites are currently being reinstated ahead of the bad weather and will be revisited for inspection and repair immediately after the passing. Storage levels are being filled and secured to support post-storm recovery. Teams are on standby to close off intakes such as yalas to prevent silting and blockages. Water truckers have been engaged to ensure hospitals, prisons, and other essential facilities have access to water after the storm. The NWC has established working groups with our key partners, JPS, the NWA, the municipal corporations, to ensure there is access and continuity in service after the passing. All existing water restrictions have been lifted to allow our customer to store water out of bad weather. In the western region, particular attention has been given to the Great River Water Treatment Plant, which serves Greater Montego Bay and its environs. This facility is often challenged with high turbidity during heavy rainfalls. In preparation for the coming weather, The intake at the Great River was taken out of operation for a new, more efficient pump to be installed. We have commissioned, back in operation, the full capacity of Great River water treatment plant last night, and our customers should gradually see improvement in service as of this morning. Next, I will share our public communication and support. The NWC also began sharing hurricane and tropical storm safety tips across our social media platforms and websites to help customers prepare and stay informed. We encourage the public to rely on these official channels for accurate, timely updates and advisories. And finally, the NWC remains committed to public safety, service continuity, and operational resilience. We extend sincere thanks to all our dedicated teams across the island who continue to work tirelessly to keep water flowing and wastewater systems functioning under challenging conditions. We urge everyone to stay safe, follow the instructions of the national authorities, and continue to conserve water as we monitor the progress of Tropical Storm Melissa. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carr. Our last speaker will be Minister Samuda for today. We're going to be taking a lot of questions right after Minister Samuda. Everybody who is here in the audience can answer questions from the media, and so we'll get to that very quickly. So over to you, Minister Samuda.
Thank you, Minister. Allow me to acknowledge Minister Desmond McKenzie, who is joining us online, and thank him for the leadership he has been displaying since we've been under threat with the storm. Allow me to acknowledge all colleague ministers, permanent secretaries, heads of agency, indeed members of the utilities who have joined us. See JPS, Flow, Digicel, and of course NWC. I started yesterday by reminding folks that the situation is indeed serious. As at 8 a.m., as you would have heard, we would have moved to a tropical storm warning and to a hurricane watch. Now, as we said yesterday, that means it is indeed time not to panic, it is in time to plan. What you would have heard thus far is that planning has indeed been underway since Hurricane Beryl last year, under the leadership of Prime Minister Andrew Holness and indeed Minister Desmond McKenzie. All of our disaster risk management systems are indeed in place, and we've been working seamlessly together with him through the Met Service. So the first thing I'd like to highlight and bring to the country's attention is that, yes, we are aware and have taken recommendations and indeed some fair criticism that we have some work to do on the communication protocols from Met Service. So over the coming 24 hours, you'll see significant improvement in communication of exactly what is happening, as we know there's a fair bit of anxiety within the society. But in that communication, we are encouraging, as Minister Tufton did, that members of the public stick to official sources. The official sources will be the Met Services website and indeed social media accounts, the ODPEM website and social media accounts, the Office of the Prime Minister website and social media accounts, Ministry of Education, Youth, JIS, Ministry of Water. Doesn't quite have a website yet, but certainly we have social media accounts. But the broader point is that we're encouraging all members of the public, regardless of what your concern is, whether it's just general